Salvador Dali is a renowned Spanish artist and the leader of the Surrealist art movement. Well, an incredible opportunity is here on the Suncoast this week as the daughter of Dali's publisher is sharing artifacts and stories that are a direct link to this very important man and his movement. Today we welcome Madame Christine Argelet and some of the pieces that are on display this week at the Chasen Galleries in Sarasota. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
What a wonderful, wonderful treat for us. Now tell us the relationship between Salvador Dali and your father, Pierre Argelet.
Well, I think that my father met Dali, you know, they were the same age, and they met between the two world wars in Paris, in those cafes where people would spend a lot of time. And they would quarrel, they would love each other, and then they started to work together. Then Dali came to the US during the Second World War, and they reconnected in Paris. And my father had so much pleasure working with Dali that finally he became his most important publisher. So it's how this collection took place, mostly in the 60s. Mm-hmm. They were very active in that time, and they went on so many projects and happenings, and this is the result of this friendship.
A chance meeting in a cafe turned into this long-standing relationship.
Exactly.
Now, and so you got to meet him as a young girl. Tell us what it was like, you know, to meet this amazing art figure.
You know, my father had a great admiration for Dali, and I could feel it, even as a child in that time. And through the years, it was a lot of fun, because each time you would go to Dali, there was a new fantasy.
Here you are.
Oh my gosh.
So that's
amazing.
a time where Dali was experimenting 3 focus kind of eyeglasses.
Oh.
And I could see behind, I could see on the side, so he would hold my hair like that. It was a lot of fun, yeah.
As a young girl, were you aware of his, you know, his impact as an artist, or did you know him as a family friend?
I would say both, because I was very close to my father, and he would take me from a very early age to studios, to auction houses, to galleries, to museums, and we would share that time always together. So I was raised in that kind of, you know, background where art was part of life.
Oh, how wonderful. So the exhibit that will be here in Sarasota, tell us about some of the pieces that will be in the museum.
So we have selected very rare pieces, thinking of Dali's presence in St. Petersburg. So we have chosen works that go from the Greek mythology illustrations to poems of Ronsard, Faust that we see just right now. Beautiful works that are quite spontaneous at the same time, sketches that he did, very detailed works like this one, which is extremely rare, the Marguerite from Faust, which is the only very detailed face of a woman that he ever etched. And this is a very difficult technique, because once the artist is doing the drawing, you cannot cancel any line on the copper plate. So it reveals the extraordinary talent that Dali had, his techniques, but also his imagination. Look at this wonderful winged demon, very surrealistic, with the inkwell and the crouch, very typical of Dali's works.
Wow. When you were kind enough to bring 2 pieces into our studio today, so we want to talk a little bit about this larger one here that is on the viewer's left. Tell us about this piece here.
So this piece belongs to the Hippies series, which is a series of works that Dali did in the late 60s. Belonging to that movement, the love and peace time. And Dali decided to etch in public. My father proposed to him. And then Dali came and started scratching the copper plate. You know, the round place that you see on the lower left. And then he left. And my father was so surprised. And after a few days, we went to his hotel in Paris, and my father told him, "What did you do in public? You just did that. How is it?" And Dali said, "I'll do the most beautiful one out of this." But I didn't know I had done that. My father was very surprised and told him what happens. And Dali said, "Well, you know, I was exchanging mail with somebody in the US, Timothy Larry. And Timothy Larry told me, that night you are etching in public, why don't you take LSD? I had never done that, and I couldn't etch. So the best came after. So it's a fun piece because it has a very...
It's a fun story.
Yes.
It's a very fun
and to
story.
see some of his, his process as well.
Yeah.
And you brought a second piece as well, which also shows another technique of Dali.
Yeah. So this is a very detailed, beautiful piece that really has something to see with the Rembrandt or the Dürer etchings.
And how beautiful to see in person. This collection is absolutely amazing, stunning, and a big, big deal for the Suncoast. It'll be on exhibition at the Chasen Galleries in Sarasota through March 25th, and you can actually meet Madame Argelais at the galleries on the 24th and the 25th. So it'll be a nice treat for people to get to speak with you. You can go to the website for more information, chasengalleries.com/Sarasota. Coming up next, we'll meet this week's McCurdy's comedy headliner.